And on today's episode, we're going to taste this Donnachiara Aglianico. We did the masterclass in Aglianico last video, and now it's time to taste this wine, as I had promised. Hey, welcome back to Drinking It In. I am your host, Chris Cassara. We are here to help you know more and drink better. They give you a lot of really good information on this wine on the back of the label. It's 100% Aglianico. They age in oak for 4 to 6 months in French barrique. It's aged in bottle for 6 to 8 months. And they give you some different pairing note, or not pairing notes, tasting notes, but I'm not gonna look at those. We're gonna taste this. We're gonna see what we get. And we'll see if it ends up living up to the hype, or at least the hype that I put out in the last video, which was that you need to start thinking about Aglianico wines, both for every day and for your cellar. Now, this particular Irpinia Aglianico DOC, this is the area where they have less strict rules, right? So they're doing a little more experimentation, although this one's 100% Aglianico, so it doesn't really matter that you can you can produce a wine that only has 70% wine, 70% wine, 70% Aglianico, and then you can mix other grapes. This one is pure Aglianico. Let's see what we get. It has a big. It smells big. What's the alcohol in this? 13%. So it's actually pretty manageable. I just opened this up about a half hour ago, so it hasn't really had too much time to breathe, but I'm getting more of a strawberry note on this. There's some dark berries in here, but it's funny, what's jumping out to me is a strawberry. You know, a little bit of a tree branch, so like a tree branch, a bark. Maybe a touch of rosemary. So it's kind of neat. Actually, strawberry and rosemary, does that go together pretty well? I think so. Let's give it a taste. So this is really, it's very light. It's refreshing. I'm gonna go with refreshing. The fruit is really nice. There's a touch of alcohol, but nothing. It's pretty well managed. And for 13% alcohol, you shouldn't really feel it, and I don't. It's sort of more one note than I would like on the palate. Like I'm getting that sort of red fruit, a little black cherry kind of coming in. I'm now getting a meaty note, a little bit of a beef jerky. So that rosemary note is now coming through a little more. So strawberries, rosemary, little beef jerky. So, and think of, maybe not beef jerky, it's going to be more like, what do you call? Good Lord. Just totally lost my train of thought. So what I was saying is it's more, I mean, beef jerky might be a tough reference, but there is sort of a meatiness to this wine, but it's not heavy. I'm just going to pour a little more, do one more taste, but I think this is a pretty good start. It's not the most complex and amazing Aglianico I've ever had, but it has a lot of the hallmarks. It's kind of dark. It has nice fruit, but it also has a bunch of earthy notes in there, some herbs, and that meatiness, that smoked meatiness. It's starting to open up a little bit. I feel like I should give this more time in the glass, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll kind of film a second sip in a couple of hours. There's a touch of bitterness on the finish, not in an off-putting way. Lots of nice red fruit, a black cherry thrown in there, some rosemary. I kind of like this. If I am rating this wine, which I have to now, right? I'm rating all these wines. All of a sudden, I'm now a standard wine critic. I mean, not really, but I'm rating these, right? We're going to keep records. You should see, I'm going to see the ticker, be a more familiar sight on the videos. I am going to go 90 points on this. My guess is that the 90-point rating will be cemented when I do the second taste in a couple of hours. It's sort of like on that 89, 90 level, on that border. And I think there's enough good stuff here and the wine's well balanced that we're going to the 90 side of the scale. And I think this was like $22 at a Total Wine. So I think definitely a worthy purchase, but I want to see how it is later today, and I'll see you back in a couple hours. All right, we're back. It's about 2 hours after opening on this wine. Now I'm in cinematic mode. You can't even see the label. I'll put that up again. The Donnachiara 2021 Irpinia Aglianico. I think it's 2021. Did I tell you that earlier? 2021. Okay. I wanted to give this a little more time, a little more air, just to see if it opened up a little bit, if it relaxed, because it felt like it was a little tight. There's definitely a little more going on in the nose. Like I said, I'm still getting like a strawberry note, but there's more black cherries in here now. The rosemary continues to come through, and there's a meaty vibe to it. There's a fair amount going on in this wine, which is nice. So on the palate now, it's more plummy. The sort of redness of the strawberries has gone away. It's much more plummy, a little raisin essence in there. The bitterness that I had referenced, I referenced a little bitterness on the back end. That's gone. So there's a much smoother experience. So I think in the end, right, it might not, this would probably benefit from a decanting, this wine. Maybe that's something to consider with Aglianicos. I hadn't necessarily thought about that. I tend not to really use a decanter very often, but maybe I really should think about that a little more deliberately. The black cherries are really up front now on the palate. And there's almost like a little whiff of like a freshly opened paint can. I kind of get that from some bigger reds, and while it doesn't come through on the palate, like this is a very well balanced, like medium weight wine. That fresh paint essence, right, or that fresh paint aroma came out initially. So all in all, I think a pretty good effort. You know, this is this probably has some potential to age. Like this 100% Aglianico. It's seen some time in oak. Probably would benefit from a couple of years in the bottle. I don't know that I'd age it for 20 years, but I'll stick by the 90-point score, and I think it's a good effort. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the bottle over the next few nights, not tonight, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you soon.